Isn't it obvious that sometimes in life, a sudden situation, a moment in time, alters your whole life, forever changes the road ahead? At this moment, coronavirus is sweeping through the world and the global economy appears to be collapsing. This, without question, is one of those times of sorrow, a period when our lives are upended and filled with uncertainty. But as more and more people adjust to life in quarantine, we are starting what's becoming a global social experiment. Ideas that we only talked about in the years before are being put into action on a massive scale. This is going to be a difficult time, but it's also going to the spark of some incredible changes. To think out of the box, I have mentioned in this video 10 plus life-changing events that people going to implement after this corona breakthroughs worldwide. Work from home. There are some benefits for working from home: flexible schedule, custom environment. It's easier to make calls. Knock off some weekend to-dos. No office distractions. Zero commuting. Save money. Online education and more secure environment. Studying online gives you more flexibility. You can work and fit your work schedule and your hobbies around your coursework more easily, even more so if you are taking an asynchronous class, an online class where you don't have to log in at a specific time for a live session, but you can study and interact with your instructor and your fellow classmates at your own pace through. By studying online, you choose your own learning environment that works best for your needs, be it your bedroom, your study, the cafe across the street, or your local gym, listening to your instructor's lecture podcast as you run on the treadmill. Isn't that awesome? Automation. One of the parts COVID-19 has hit the hardest is fabricating. Anybody working on a production line is an amazingly predicament. Working remotely isn't a choice when you work with your hands, however, for certain production lines, nor is staying home, but for purported lights-out industrial facilities that are worked totally by robots, and illness isn't even a problem. Companies that utilize more computerization are now showing improvement over those that depend on packing human laborers into a firmly stuffed manufacturing plant, and organizations are beginning to take note. Kaja Robotics, for instance, has said that they've seen a 25% increase in inquiries in the past 30 days alone. We can expect a lot of manufacturing companies to turn to automation to survive, and a lot of other companies, too. China has already started replacing delivery drivers with drones. They're reporting that they're faster and safer than human workers. They've even experimented with robotic hospitals, where machines take your temperature, deliver your meals, and disinfect your room to keep humans from having to come into contact with someone carrying a disease. By the time this pandemic is over, your job just might have been filled by a robot. Universal basic income. A few months ago, universal basic income seemed like a pipe dream. The idea of sending every person in a country a monthly check, even if they don't go to work, was starting to crop up on the odd campaign trail, but in most countries, it didn't sound like anything we'd see anytime soon. The rise of big government. Whether that's a good thing or not is up to debate, but good or bad, there's a lot of reason to believe that it's true. Around the world, people have been embracing big government ever since COVID-19 began to spread. Socialist policies are being implemented all around the world, even in countries led by conservative and libertarian leaders. The future must be bright by the supreme government conducted by other nations' reunion, to face such crisis like this. Ultimately, all the nations' governments will reunite for facing natural calamities. Voting by mail. Texas Democrats have filed a lawsuit for the right to vote by mail, while other states are encouraging people to exclusively mail in their ballots. Which could be great for democracy. When Utah introduced voting by mail, they saw a 7% increase in voter turnout. Might be possible, this act will be accepted by the global government voting system. The death of local businesses, art and culture. The world in crisis of coronavirus, lots of local businesses which are depending on daily businesses, will be suffered a lot, until all situations become normal again. The end of reliance on China. Up until now, the world has relied on China as its manufacturing hub. They manufacture 20% of the world's goods, more than any other country on Earth, and they have an even bigger role in healthcare. For example, 90% of America's antibiotics comes from China. According to my research, this could be the lesson to not rely too much from anyone. The future scope might be created self-dependency. Eventually, the newcomers will get the chance to show their talent to government by manufacturing those products, in which we dependable to the China. New employment opportunity will be obtained. Free universal health care and insurance. After the Spanish flu of 1918, countries around the world, author Laura Spinney says, embraced the concept of socialized medicine. It was one of the lasting impacts of the last great global pandemic. People started to realize that the health of the poor affected everyone, and the first discussions that would lead to universal health care began. I think all the nations work on this concept together to protect the citizens of their countries. Insurance might also help with this issue. COVID-19 is going to put us to the test, but when that test is over, we're going to have a better understanding of the cracks in our societies. And if we're lucky, our world just might wind up a better place. Be optimistic, fight together, stay at home, bring peace to others. Love you guys, thanks for watching.